What's up guys, Alex from FIFA Scouting Tips here, and I'm here to talk about the new FIFA 16 features unveiled at Gamescom 2015 and what they mean for career mode in the next FIFA game, because there's some interesting looking new features but also some worrying omissions that I want to talk about as well. So one of the first things that EA talked about was a new player training feature. You'll be able to select up to 5 players at a time and have them work on specific drills every week to improve their ability. There are over 30 drills and they're designed to improve things like dribbling, passing and shooting. The idea is that it will allow you to mould your players in the way that you want. This does sound like a pretty cool idea, and my first thought was that it might be used to counter the growth problems that we've had with youth players before. So in FIFA 15, youth players are almost always slow and weak when they come out of the academy, while you often find mispositioned players like fullbacks who are meant to be wingers, for example, and have 50 stand tackling, no good for being a fullback at all. At first I thought this feature would let you build up your player's strength or drastically improve his tackling, for instance, but it looks like the changes training enacts won't be massive, but instead will complement the regular monthly growth process, small tweaks rather than huge changes basically. It's also rather limited in that you can only train 5 players at once, so if you have a major issue with player growth in your squad, this is unlikely to help. What I'm hoping is that EA have fixed the growth system so that the problems I've described aren't an issue in FIFA 16, because the player training feature genuinely does sound like an interesting idea and it adds some immersion to the game, but what we really need is a fixed growth mechanic. The next big career mode feature unveiled at Gamescom is the introduction of pre-season tournaments. So pre-season friendlies have always felt largely irrelevant. You likely have a good idea of who your best players are and don't need to test out new formations, and you'll often come up against 3 random teams, which kind of breaks the illusion that you are on a pre-season tour of, for example, Germany. If you have a team from Germany, one from France and then one from Sweden, for example, doesn't seem very realistic. So in FIFA 16 there'll be 9 tournaments hosted around the world and you'll be invited to 3 of them. While that adds realism and heightens the immersion, what I think is the most important aspect is that you can actually win prize money if you do well, and this money gets added to your season's budget as well. So now there's a real reason to care about pre-season and actively take part in it, so that's a great addition to the game, I feel. However, while I'm glad that EA have added these tournaments, I can't help feeling that there are some aspects that perhaps should have been given greater priority, which brings me onto one thing that was barely mentioned at all, and that was scouting. The only time EA mentioned scouting in their Gamescom show was when David Rutter said that EA have made fundamental improvements across transfers and scouting. That was it, there was no elaboration on the scouting system, whether that was on the global transfer network or on youth scouting. So from digging around in the news today, it looks like the Global Transfer Network has had some improvements here and there. So scout reports of real players, not youth players, now last an entire year before expiring rather than the 3 months that they did in FIFA 15, and I know a lot of people, myself included, will be very happy about that. It also looks like scouting a player will show their overall on the report itself once your scout has finished looking at them. In FIFA 15 you have to click on them to view their overall. So other than that though, there's very little news on the GTN and nothing at all on youth scouting. So I'm currently making some inquiries, and I will of course let you guys know if and when I find out anything else about youth scouting in FIFA 16, but it is all rather worrying, this lack of information on youth scouting. We were all heavily disappointed when it turned out that the youth scouting system in FIFA 15 was almost identical to FIFA 14, and the lack of news here is a very worrying indication that it may be extremely similar once again. There are tons of issues that need to be sorted out with scouting, from the slow, weak players and mispositioned fullbacks to the impossibility of finding a striker if you search for the attacker player type. Never mind the total lack of any meaningful sort of youth league. Youth players currently sit around twiddling their thumbs in the academy until you promote them, and that may well still be the case in FIFA 16. There were a few more changes mentioned though, many of which will be welcomed. You can now sign free agents outside of the transfer window, while there's more good news in that a percentage of your transfer budget can be carried over to the next season if you meet certain objectives. Transfers are supposedly going to be made more realistic, where you can now take players on 2-year loans. So there are lots of small changes really, but they all sound pretty good to me. And finally, EA said that they have improved the storytelling in career mode, so that commentators refer to transfer rumours, player debuts, notable performances and developing storylines. It sounds like it's all been tweaked to cover more info and be a bit more immersive, so hopefully it will work out that way in practice. So that's my take on the latest FIFA 16 news. There's lots to look forward to, but at the same time there are some serious omissions that really are cause for concern. Hopefully EA will clarify these issues, especially the lack of youth scouting information, but don't hold your breath on that one. Like I said, I will let you guys know if I do find out anything new on it. So what do you guys think of EA's Gamescom show? Are you looking forward to FIFA 16? Are there any features that you love the look of, or conversely any that you would rather weren't in the game? Make sure you share your thoughts in the comments and let me know what you think. Don't forget also to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. But then this happened.
What the hell?